Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I saw something a couple days ago that was pretty asinine. I wanted to make a video about it because it just makes it doesn't make sense to me, man. It makes Paul George look so out of touch, and I kind of can't believe he even said this publicly or made a statement about it. So, in case you guys don't know, Paul George has decided to take a break from podcasting to focus on basketball. At the time when I saw this release, I laughed out loud. I literally laughed. Like, I actually thought it was relatively hilarious. And the reason I'm saying that is because at the time when Paul George released this statement, the 76ers were 20-38. 58 games into the season. And now you want to focus on winning? You want to focus on being a fucking playing team? No, you know what? I'm going to be honest, man. Okay, this is my honest opinion here. The 76ers this year have been a train wreck. Right now, the Paul George signing looks horrendous. Right? I think we can all agree. It doesn't look good. Jared McCain has a torn meniscus that needed to be surgically repaired. He was in the hunt for Rookie of the Year until he got injured. But he's a 15-point per game scorer, shooting 46% from the field and 38% from three. Embiid only played 19 games this year. The season's a wash. Paul George's pinky is so bad. Paul George has an injury to his pinky, and I don't know if it's on his shooting hand or not, but Brian Windhorst of ESPN came out and said that Paul George is already receiving injections for pain. It is that bad. Bro, sit down. The season's over. Season's over. Okay? I appreciate the enthusiasm, but you're only making things worse for you. Okay? Like, first of all, it was already like how do I say this? It was already a topic of discussion that you were taking podcasting more important than you were taking basketball, right? But then when you come out and actually make a statement saying that I'm taking a break from podcasting to focus on basketball when your team is 20-38, just confirms everybody's biases. That's all he did. That's all Paul George did, was confirm everybody else's biases and perceived notions of him. This was probably the dumbest thing you could have done, especially when, like, 2 days later, the 76ers announced that Joel Embiid is out for the season. His knees are so bad, they need to be surgically repaired, or at the very least, one of them needs to be surgically repaired. But the team is kind of in shambles, all right? If you're Paul George, you have a really bad hand injury. Embiid's knees are shot, all right? Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain are like the two bright spots you have going for you, and Jared McCain tore his meniscus in his rookie year. Not really the time to be addressing the podcast allegations. That's all I'm saying. Not a good time. And to be fair, okay, I can't pin all of this on Paul George. I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't. The whole team has been injury riddled. All right. Joel Embiid played 19 games this season. He has played 18 games total with Paul George. All right. Tyrese Maxey was looking really good in the beginning of the season. But, you know, even just recently, he had a pretty bad game. But the 76ers are done. Even if you made a solid push, right? Even if you made a solid push for the rest of the year, and let's say you won 20 straight, it's probably still not enough for you to make the playoffs because the other teams are going to keep winning games. Okay, yeah, maybe you're just not in the ass crack of the Eastern Conference, right? Okay, great. But you know what? Your roster is so thin when it comes to depth that tanking's probably a good thing for you. If I'm being honest, it's probably a good thing for you. All right? If you could get a decent draft pick and get somebody else to go out there with, Jared McCain and just add something to your bench unit for the future, because I'm just going to be honest, right? If I'm the 76ers, I know they drafted Adam Bona last year, and I think he's actually been a pretty solid player for them. I don't know if I would say he's your Joel Embiid replacement, but he's young enough that he could potentially be that. What you need to do in this year's draft is go out and draft your Paul George replacement, because you paid him a lot of money. He's injured all the time. You really don't know what the future holds for this roster, especially with Paul George. And, Paul George is 34. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't know what the future holds, and you need bench depth. I don't know what their draft pick situation looks like, but they're in the boat of that's how they're gonna add bench depth, is through drafting players. I mean, if I go here, right, I'm very curious. Fanspo is not the greatest source, but wow, Paul George is the second most traded player on on Fanspo. That's pretty funny, but they do have a 2025 second round pick with the swap rights for Denver. There's no protections on it, but I'm assuming they're going to keep that second round pick. I'm assuming it's going to be a relatively early second round pick too, based on how bad the record is. But they've got draft picks for the future. They've got 2 first round picks next year, which they could maybe trade for a 2025 first rounder this year if they really wanted to, just to get into this year's draft. But it's just the idea, they need to add bench depth, and the only way for them to really do that going forward is by drafting players. So if this season is an obvious wash, okay, and your record's 20-38, at the current point in time, I don't know what their record is. That was when Paul George made the statement. Right? Yeah, they're 20-38 at the moment. There's no reason for you to be trying. There's really no reason for you to even be playing. In fact, if I were the 76ers, I don't even know if I would play Tyrese Maxey. Your team is in shambles, and you risk Tyrese Maxey getting injured. I would even limit his minutes, if I'm being honest with you. If I'm Tyrese Maxey, I know the league is not just going to let them sit Tyrese Maxey, but if I'm the 76ers, if Embiid's done for the season, our season is done for the season. You know what I'm saying? Paul George has a hand that needs pain injections, right, in order for him to be able to take the court, right? If I'm the 76ers at this point, dog, I'm doing limited minutes. I'm doing limited minutes on Maxey and Paul George. If Paul George wants to play, fine, but you're getting limited minutes. Because I think you're at this point where you need to start considering next season, right? Let some of your bench guys get some burn. Let Adam Bona get some burn, and as a result of this, he's going to, right? Adam Bona is... what are his stats this year? I haven't even looked at it, but I've heard a lot of good things about him from not necessarily Philadelphia fans, but what's he looking like? Adam Bona, okay, 3 points, 3 rebounds in 40 games. Oh, okay. He's averaging 3 points a game, but he's only getting 11 minutes. Who's playing ahead of Adam? Hold on. Who's playing ahead of him? Oh, they got Andre Drummond too. Okay, and Gershon Yabusele, the guy from France who really murdered Team USA in the Olympics last year. Yeah, Andre Drummond's getting more burn than he is. Andre Drummond is averaging 7 and 7, or 7 and 7.5. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. If I'm the 76ers, let Adam Bona get some burn. This is your chance. Put Adam Bona out there. Put Justin Edwards out there. All the guys you drafted, just let them get some burn. You got Ricky Council the fourth. Alex Reese is on a 2-way from Alabama, but this is your time. This is your chance to play your young players, your David Roddies, your Jared Butlers. They do have Quentin Grimes now. Now's the time to see what the future holds. You know what I'm saying? The season's over, and Tyrese Maxey is, he's a good player, but it's not worth leaving him out there to potentially get injured when your season is very obviously over. But as far as Paul George with the podcasting stuff, I mean, it's really wild to me that he like decided to make this statement, because it's like he's gonna come out and just be like, playoff P is here, and I'm like, dude, like, where was this like 15, 20 games ago? You know what I'm saying? That's when you should have started caring, not like 2 days before they decide they're gonna tell the entire public that Joel Embiid's done for the season. So, and to be fair, also, next season there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve still. Paul George and Joel Embiid have only played 18 games together. So even going into next season, there's going to be a learning curve between Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid all playing together. So that's not out of the question either. But I will say this: if the 76ers can trade a draft pick for, just trade a first round pick for a first round pick. Trade a first round pick down the road for a first round pick in this year's draft, and see if you can add some more depth to your bench. They do have 2 first round picks for 2026. Maybe they could trade one of those to somebody and get themselves a decent player in the draft to add to their bench unit, who will maybe be the future beyond Paul George. They do have Adam Bona, who I think is very good, who's not getting a lot of minutes, but I think he's, I don't want to say he's the Joel Embiid replacement, but he's definitely, like, at the current point in time, the only, like, real contingency plan for Joel Embiid. And if you could get, Jared McCain looked like a really, really good rookie. He looks like he has a bright future. You have Tyrese Maxey. Really now it's like those wing spots and, the power forward, small forward spots that you really have to go out there and try to find somebody super talented. And if they can sit underneath Paul George for, the remainder of his contract, I think that's a big benefit as well. If I were the 76ers, that's what I would be doing, is trying to draft a young small forward with some promise in this draft this year. That's what I'd be doing. Or try to trade for a young one. Maybe a guy like on Houston. I do know they have Cam Whitmore. I don't know what the status is of Cam Whitmore. But I do know they have, Houston's got a lot of young guys that they would maybe give you one of them for a first-round pick. Especially a guy like Cam Whitmore. It's like, hey, I'll give you this first-round pick. You give me Cam Whitmore so I can have him sit underneath Paul George for a couple years and play him off the bench. I don't think that's an end-of-the-world scenario either, especially when Cam Whitmore, it seems like when Cam Whitmore really gets some meaningful minutes and gets a little bit of consistency, he's a solid player. So, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, but tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.